Hi, my name is Krista DeVoe, and for this Module 16, I'll be examining the case study of the internet use violations. As I examined this, I really got to thinking about the role as a leader that we play and how we have to be those ethical leaders that have the information and the understanding and the ability to be the role model and make the decisions. As I analyzed this problem, there were many things that I could figure out pretty quickly. One was that Roosevelt High is a very successful school with affluent parents who take pride in their school and want their students to succeed. And that includes Dr. Forbes, their principal, who's an experienced leader who's been recognized by his peers for that leadership. One of the things he took pride in was hiring Miss Walker. She's a first-year teacher, but not a traditional first-year teacher. She is very well educated. She wants her students to excel. And through the teaching of that rigorous course, though, her class is known as being very stressful, and parents are concerned that their students are not succeeding at the level that they would all like, and they're worried that Miss Walker may be responsible. Miss Walker learns that there's a website that's been created that's very hurtful to her and makes comments about her that are very inappropriate. And she contacts Dr. Forbes, who then is going to need to investigate. And he has a plan for that. He calms Miss Walker initially. As far as what we still need to know, there are a lot of things that I would like to know. Do students have one-to-one devices that are provided by the school? And what sort of policy exists for that? What were the exact comments that were made online? Are these truly threatening in nature? And do they clearly violate the acceptable use policy of technology? What is the school's policy for handling threats is something that I'm going to need to know moving forward. And if the school is using a restorative justice model in order to handle some of the consequences and discipline. I also need to know the policy for working with a new teacher and where Ms. Walker is in the process of receiving supports and coaching. I know that Dr. Forbes had tried to intervene in a few ways, but obviously we're going to need to work on some more things. And then, is Ms. Walker's classroom safe? Is it in need of immediate intervention? And is it still a healthy environment in which students can learn? When identifying the problem, I feel like there's an immediate problem and then a longer-term pressing problem as well. The immediate problem is the potential violation of technology use and maybe even threats that might be a legal issue. And then the longer term problem is the damage to relationships among the teacher, the students, and the parents. There's some trust that's missing there that as an instructional leader, I'll need to help with as well. So the plan of action. First of all, as a leader, I need to fully investigate the situation. I need to understand what has happened and what was said and talk to the district technologist to find out if school computers were used. I need to know, probably talk to that technology leader and find out if we can even determine where the emails originated and who has created the website. Because if that was done using school technology, then we definitely have some discipline to do and we can identify who that is that needs to be disciplined. I need to review the policy, and most likely I would contact the council of the district and find out legally where we're at with that, what the school policy is, and determine the level of threat involved so we know how we need to proceed with that. Ms. Walker needs some coaching. Sometimes we get caught up on the instructional piece, but this is about creating a more safe and effective classroom climate. And she needs to recognize that there are some things that need to change in the stress level of her students so that they can have that safe, trusting relationship and they can continue to learn from her. There needs to be some collaborating with students as well. I feel like if students and parents understood Ms. Walker's dedication to her content and to them as students and wanting to prepare them to be successful in college and future pursuits, that they could appreciate that they're all on the same team. And so some sort of opportunity to help Miss Walker get to know her students, help her students and their parents get to know Miss Walker would create that trust and maybe help with the learning environment moving forward. And finally, this situation does need to resolve. If Randy and any other individuals that may have been involved, if they take responsibility for what has happened, then that'll be a way for maybe them to sit down and get to hear how it made Miss Walker feel and improve that situation. And then there need to be consequences if, in fact, Randy or some of his friends were involved in the creation of that website. The way that all of this resolves needs to be about what's best for kids. And one of the important things is not jumping to conclusions in the investigating process. We may start with Randy, but we can't assume that he's responsible. We need a chance to talk to the people involved and figure things out in a fair way. These students need to learn about digital citizenship, though, the responsibilities that they have online and the potential legal issues that could arise, whether we do in fact have some of those consequences take place, or whether, if we were unfortunately not able to identify exactly who did it, all students need to know about the responsibility that they have online. We also need to work at improving the learning environment of this classroom. And that will involve Miss Walker as well as her students and me as an instructional leader. And then there need to be supports and appropriate consequences. So Miss Walker needs my support, some coaching in how to build that safe and supportive classroom environment. The students are going to need some supports in learning about digital citizenship. And if students are identified as responsible, they need to have those consequences. As I thought about this, safety is a number one concern. Obviously, Miss Walker needs to be safe and needs to feel safe. I really found myself thinking about what's the best case scenario here, because obviously there's a lot of hurt feelings that came out of this website. So what is the best thing that could happen moving forward to continue having a productive learning environment? And then the relationships and culture pieces where that took me. They have to be able to trust each other. Miss Walker needs to feel safe, and the parents need to trust Miss Walker as well. So there is some sort of relationship building that needed to occur. There are a lot of things that I'd still like to know. What did Randy and his friends say when they were questioned? And do we know where the email originated or who was responsible? And then another important piece to this ending well is Ms. Walker receptive to the suggestions that we're making and the coaching that's occurring to help with the classroom? If not, I'm afraid it'll only become more and more toxic and combative, and she will continue to struggle as well as her students. As I thought about the skills needed to navigate this as a leader, first and foremost, the ethical leader, the knowledgeable about law, but also being able to model how to treat each other respectfully. But then I thought of all the other ISLIC standards too. In order to maintain that safe system, I need to know the school policy and I need to be able to act on those. I need to be an instructional leader who can coach Ms. Walker moving forward to create that classroom environment. And I need to be able to talk to parents and students in order to improve that culture. Looking at integrity and ethical behavior and some of the examples from the case study, Ms. Walker didn't feel safe. And so, Dr. Forbes tried to assure her that he thought it was a prank, but important to not assume it's a prank, but to investigate as though it may in fact be a real threat. It's important to avoid making judgments during the investigating process, judgments about Ms. Walker having responsibility here or about specific students until we have facts and information from the investigation. And then always following school policy. That is going to guide the decisions that are made for any consequences that come or any actions that need to be taken. As far as modeling the ability to treat others fairly with dignity and respect, I have to take that threat seriously and provide those appropriate and restorative consequences if Randy and his friends were in fact involved. But I need to attend to the improvement of that classroom too. The students need to be learning each day that they're there, and we can't continue that toxic relationship. And then demonstrating a personal and professional code of ethics, just modeling professional behavior, coaching Ms. Walker through how to return to her classroom immediately after that threat would be important, and moving her forward in that relationship with her students as well. I would definitely need to consult other school leaders. This isn't a decision that I'd make alone. I'd want to talk to our district's council and any other district leaders as far as any past precedents or things that I would need to know in moving forward with the decisions that are made. And then being really transparent in those decisions, talking to Ms. Walker about what's happened with the investigation within reason, and making sure that she, as well as students, parents, other teachers, know what went into the decisions. Thanks for the opportunity to reflect on the case study of internet use.